Hello, my dear friends. You're watching the Military Situation Room, and today we will discuss a very explosive situation that developed in the last 24 hours on the 5th of January 2026. Today we have some extremely interesting and controversial updates about an alleged attack on Putin's residence. So let's start and dive deep into what really happened. During the previous 24 hours, the Russian Federation made a very serious accusation. According to Russian official sources, Ukrainian forces allegedly launched a drone attack targeting the residence of President Vladimir Putin in Novgorod region. This is a huge claim. We're not talking about a military base or an industrial facility. We're talking about the personal residence of the Russian president himself. And as you can imagine, this immediately created a massive wave of reactions across the world. But here's where the situation becomes very interesting and very complicated. Because almost immediately after these Russian claims were published, we received a strong denial from the Ukrainian side. President Volodymyr Zelenskyy himself addressed these allegations. And according to pro-Ukrainian sources and official statements from Kiev, Ukraine completely denies any involvement in this alleged attack. Zelenskyy stated clearly that Ukraine did not carry out any operation against Putin's residence in Novgorod. This is a direct contradiction to what Russian sources are claiming. Now, let's be clear about something. During this war, we have seen Ukrainian forces carry out operations deep inside Russian territory. We've seen drone attacks on military targets, on oil refineries, on ammunition depots. This is not new, but this particular claim about Putin's residence is being strongly denied. So we have two completely opposite versions of events. And as always, we need to look at the evidence. Here's what makes this situation even more interesting. According to United States intelligence sources, and this information was reported by multiple Western media outlets, U.S. intelligence has determined that Ukraine did not target Putin's residence. Let me repeat that. American intelligence agencies which have access to satellite data, communications intelligence, and other technical means of verification are saying that this attack either didn't happen the way Russia claims or Ukraine was not responsible. Furthermore, according to analysis from the Institute for the Study of War, and this is a very important detail, the typical evidence that we usually see after Ukrainian strikes inside Russia was completely absent in this case. What do I mean by typical evidence? Well, when Ukraine carries out a drone strike, we usually see certain patterns. We see debris, we see impact craters, we see damaged structures, we see firefighting operations, we see local residents filming the aftermath. In this case, according to neutral analysts, much of this evidence is missing or inconsistent. Now, let's discuss why this matters and why we need to be very careful when analyzing these claims. First of all, we're in a period right now where peace negotiations are happening. As you may know, President Trump and President Zelenskyy have been discussing prospects of ending the war with Russia. Turkish President Erdogan is also involved in mediation efforts. In this kind of diplomatic environment, information warfare becomes extremely important. Both sides have reasons to shape the narrative in their favor. Russia might want to portray Ukraine as reckless and aggressive to gain sympathy. Ukraine needs to maintain its image as a defender, not an aggressor targeting political leaders. Second, and this is very important, making claims about attacks on national leaders is a very serious escalation in rhetoric. If Russia is making this claim without solid evidence, we need to ask why. So what's really going on here? Let's analyze the possibilities. Possibility number one, the attack happened exactly as Russia claims, and Ukraine is simply denying it for political reasons. This is possible, but the lack of evidence makes this less likely. Possibility number two, there was some kind of incident near or around the Novgorod area, but it was either not related to Ukraine, or it was greatly exaggerated by Russian sources. Maybe it was a malfunction, maybe it was an accident, maybe it was something completely different. Possibility number 3, and this is the most controversial possibility. The entire story was fabricated or heavily distorted for propaganda purposes. In modern warfare, information is a weapon and both sides use it. As of now, based on the evidence we have, or more accurately, based on the lack of evidence, it seems that Ukraine's denial is supported by Western intelligence assessment. But regardless of what actually happened, this incident tells us something very important about the current state of the war. The fact that such accusations are being made shows us that tensions remain extremely high, even as diplomatic talks are ongoing. The information war is as intense as the military war. For Ukraine, maintaining credibility with Western partners is crucial. False accusations can damage that credibility, which is why they're responding so strongly. For Russia, portraying itself as a victim of aggression can help justify continued military operations and can help with domestic public opinion. And for the international community, especially countries trying to mediate peace, incidents like this make negotiations even more complicated. Meanwhile, on the ground, the war continues. While these diplomatic and information battles are happening, we continue to see active combat operations along multiple fronts. Ukrainian forces recently showed footage of soldiers shooting down small Russian drones with rifles, which shows the continuing intensity of daily combat operations. President Zelenskyy has also made significant changes to his leadership team, naming military intelligence chief Kyrylo Budanov as his presidential chief of staff, and nominating Mikhailo Fedorov as defense minister. These changes suggest Ukraine is preparing for what could be a critical phase of the war in 2026. So let's summarize what we know for certain and what remains unclear. What we know: Russia made an accusation about an attack on Putin's residence. Ukraine strongly denies this. U.S. intelligence supports Ukraine's denial. Evidence for the Russian claim is lacking or inconsistent. What remains unclear: what actually happened in Novgorod, if anything. Why Russia made this claim at this particular time, how this will affect ongoing peace negotiations. My analysis is this: in the fog of war, truth is always the first casualty. Both sides have strong incentives to control the narrative. As analysts and as viewers seeking truth, we must always demand evidence, compare multiple sources, and remain skeptical of dramatic claims that aren't backed by solid proof. This situation is still developing, and we will continue monitoring it closely. If new evidence emerges, if new statements are made, if the situation changes, we will update you immediately. And that's the situation as of today, the 5th of January 2026. The Military Situation Room reminds you to always seek multiple sources and think critically about what you see and hear. Thank you for watching. If you found this analysis helpful, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates on this rapidly developing situation. Join our community in the comments below and let me know what you think about these claims. Do you believe Russia's accusations or do you side with Ukraine's denial? Stay informed, stay critical, and I'll see you in the next update.